Indeed, as much as we even said it last year when the president announced the lockdown, the police officers were on the forefront. Every time people were every day they were in their own houses, police officers are working. Today we are faced with the situation, police officers are still working. The question that always comes from our members is very simple. How much can we go? Why are we not getting our danger allowance? Why are we not getting enough pay? And this is a situation that we are faced with. But as a union, we are responsible. This situation currently, we have to deal with the stability in the country. We have to deal with what the law says. Our job in terms of the constitution is to make sure that we protect life, we protect property. Then from there, the government and those in leadership must be able to look at what police officers are doing. Every time when there's a crisis, police officers are put in the front seat. When if things are stable in the country, then everybody wants to say, no, police officers are not people to look at. Indeed, we are trying to talk with our members and engage with them. They are working on a daily basis. You can see what happened last night. Police officers are deemed to be looking at the looting, and not just because they want to, but they are faced with the situation of saying, how do we deal with the situation? If you enforce the law, you will be labeled as trigger happy. If you look at the people and they just loot, and people are saying police are not doing their best, but we can assure you that our members are trying their level best in this situation.
Tanvir Jiwa, in the middle of all of this, we have what I think many people would see as incitement. And I'm talking about what we see on social media. Sometimes these are relatives of prominent people. There is, I think we could safely say, at least one prominent political leader who may be accused of incitement from what they've said on Twitter today. Are people breaking the law when they do this?
I think a lot of people are, and I don't think they're mindful enough of the law in that instance. I mean, as you've mentioned, we've seen former President Jacob Zuma's family members calling on to people to gather, and I think that's why it was so important what my colleague Mr. Nsime just said in terms of we need political leadership, and right now what we don't need is to call on to more people to gather. As you can see, things are getting out of hand on an extremely tough level. The police doesn't know what to do because they're trying to mitigate their own reactions to what's going on, and at the end of the day we really do highlight the fact that there's a duty on the police officers to not use excessive force, but also we acknowledge that there's a duty on the public, political leaders and also members who are highly prominent on social media and generally influential, that they should not call on to people because to gather and to loot and just to cause general unrest, because at the end of the day, these are definitely things that are unlawful. You are not allowed to incite violence. And in many ways, I think what's also really interesting, Stephen, is the fact that a lot of people are quote unquote smart enough to know how to toe the line in terms of saying things that don't necessarily amount to incitement under the law, but definitely get people to still get riled up and loot and protest on other conditions.
Tanvir Jiwa, the legal analyst, Stanley Malamacha, an attorney focusing on the law around protest, and the acting Deputy General Secretary of the South African Police Union, Peter Nseme. Thank you all for your time tonight. I know you're all very busy. The whole country is. You can see more pictures there, of course, of the protests, the violence, and, well, the looting that we've seen through the day. More on this in a moment. Stay with us on the Pulse.